Hello again. Before we proceed with the demo, I want to set the stage with an overview of the capabilities of narrative reporting. Narrative reporting allows you to enrich your reporting with live numbers, shared text, and tools that you can use to collaborate with your team. I like to point out that this is a business-friendly tool that requires no scripting. Additionally, access to data is managed at a user and group level within the source applications. All activities are audited within narrative reporting and are controlled via the application level security layers for narrative reporting. For today, I'll be sharing what is called a report package. It is a package because it is made up of many different types of supporting information called docklets, and it's assigned a workflow and finally an output format for use for distribution. Let's talk through the anatomy of a narrative report. This is a template-driven tool. Given this, it relies on style sheets for Word documents and slide masters for PowerPoint documents. Once you've loaded the formats up or used the system defaults, narrative reporting maintains all the dynamic elements of the document, like the table of contents and headers and footers. Let's continue. Narratives are the information that a reviewer has typed into a document or into a slide deck. Think of narratives as telling the story of the numbers and graphs. These elements are managed like a SharePoint. Documents to be edited are to be checked out before they can be changed and must be checked back into the application before they can be approved. Next, we see variables, which are the elements that must be updated during every preparation review cycle. These elements could be static references to dates, like a year, end period, or dynamic reference into a user-uploaded Excel document in the supporting details of this package. Embedded content is added into a package as a grid from another report or as a chart from another report. It is also possible to include items from Excel. The package can be completed after it has gone through its assigned workflow of preparers and reviewers. Multiple review instances can be created as needed. A sign-off instance can be used to submit this to senior leadership, as we'll see in just a minute. Now let's jump into the web application. Today, I'll be working the application as a power user named Carrie. The information pane on the left-hand side lists all my tasks that are incomplete, as well as any messages that are auto-generated, notifying me of updates that are required in my assigned reporting packages. Let's take a look at an incomplete task. From within this task, here are shortcuts that would take me directly to those tasks. After opening an incomplete task, I can download the contents of the associated document, I can see the due date, I can link directly to those tasks, and I can see the workflow. Since I have a number of updates that I need to make based on all those new messages, let's start with that report package that I know is in process, and the one that we focused on from within the report, the presentation just a minute ago. This is a sample reporting package. Now we can see the anatomy of this narrative report and the elements that make it up. We have different phases available for use: the author, multiple review instances, as many as we want, and a sign-off phase. Each phase can have its own unique workflows and owners. So before we dive in, let's see a preview of this entire document as a PDF to know what we're working with. And this is a 13-page document, and so we've got a lot of content in here. We can see narratives, we can see a standard table of contents, link charts, data, and then back on the first page, I'll go up here too. We have a date that's embedded. This is called a variable. And so we come back to our variables and we want to make a change and an update to the variable. We can simply do that. We can see where the variables are in use at, right in this little box here. It's in use 2 times within the cover page and within the number 4 item, the docklet. And I want to update that in one fell swoop. That's the intention of using variables. Change this to December 31st, 2023. And now that's changed. As I return to rerun this report, there we go. We can see that the date has been updated. Now let's look at how we can manage that report package that I just showed you on the web within Microsoft Word. If we were working with a PowerPoint deck, we would also go through this same process, and we'd have a particular set of actions through SmartView, which you can see SmartView is an add-in, same add-in that you're using for close consolidation in Excel. We can see that we have an extension for this. And in particular, this extension gives you the ability to perform SharePoint-like actions and activities. For example, checking this document out, making changes to it, uploading it, checking it back in, as well as sending it onward through the approval process. Even if you're a preparer or reviewer, all of the roles and actions here are defined by your security in the workflow. And we can see all the people that have been involved in this. We can see, as I mentioned, talked about variables. We can see all the variables that are in use. And so these variables here, they're actually linked into an Excel document that was uploaded. And to give you an idea what this Excel document looks like, this was a doclet, as I had mentioned earlier, use that word, and it's just a set of reference points. So if there's data points that you get from somewhere else in a third-party system or in another application that you haven't brought into close consolidation, you can upload just that content within Excel and then create variables off of it so you can pull these on the fly into this report. We can also see what other reports are embedded into this. So we have a waterfall report that's embedded. You can see it at the bottom. You can also link to the underlying data with grid within the report. We can see that this field in particular is called period ended. That's a variable. And we'll open back up to inspect, look at our variables, and then we see the period ended. I could also make comments directly in this as a review cycle. So some of my customers like to use the Excel native review process, or they like to use the narrative reporting review process. There's different ways to do that. But let's say I want to make changes. We are going to have spikes in revenue due to issues in both North America and APAC. Maybe these issues are in Europe this year. And so I can upload this and check it back in. And now these changes are pushed back into that reporting package that you can see and run on the web out to a PDF. So we can update the narratives. We can refresh all of the data. Notice here, refresh the data. We can refresh the underlying data directly from close consolidation or planning and budgeting. And then we can also see all of the elements, the docklets and items and the sections that are part of the package, just like we saw on the web. Once this is closed, this is archived. All the data is archived at a current point in time so that any of the data that's in this is static. Your database, your planning, your close consolidation databases may have data that could change accidentally or purposely, but once this is closed, all the data is locked and restricted, and you can always go back at the point in time when this package was finalized to see the data and information that was in it. If the package was ever to be reopened and refreshed, you could see that that was part of the history, and that process can be completely controlled and locked by just one person. I've now completed all the tasks that I'm responsible for as part of this report package preparation. So let me recap by going through the capabilities of narrative reporting once more. We can provide notes within reports. We can summarize notes to where we can roll notes up from different entities, for example. All of our charting is on the fly. And data security is managed at the source applications. Thanks for your time. Let me know if you have any other questions. Thank you.